The story begins in an old age home, where all the elderly people are sharing their sorrows through poems. Among them is an old woman named Asun, who is the main character of our story. She begins to tell her story, and with her words, the scene shifts to the past. We see little Asun standing by the seashore calling out for her mother. Her mother is a diver who dives deep into the sea to gather fish and shells. Every day, Asun waits for her mother by the water, just like this. But her mother is always late, staying in the water much longer than others. The other divers gossip, saying that Asun's mother is a greedy woman. She cares more about collecting as much as she can than about her own safety. Seeing Asun sad, some women tease her by pointing towards Gwansik, a boy from the village who, they think, likes her. Laughing, they say that the two of them should get married. Asun comes from a diver's family, and Gwansik is from a fisherman's family. They'd make a perfect match, and Asun would live like a queen. Frustrated, Asun shouts that she doesn't like Gwansik at all. Just then, her mother finally comes out of the water. Instead of giving the shells she collected to a sick old diver as a kind gesture, she insists on selling them. She explains that she doesn't work so hard to feed others. She works to provide for her own children. An argument breaks out between her and another woman. Through this, we learn that Asun is her daughter from her first marriage. After her first husband passed away, she remarried in hopes of a better life, but her second husband turned out to be irresponsible. Now, she alone is carrying the weight of the entire household. At home, Asun argues with her mother, accusing her of caring more about money than about her own daughter. Angry, her mother snaps at her, telling her to go live with her grandmother. Asun's grandfather was a wealthy man, which is why her mother had left Asun there in the first place, hoping she would have a better life. But when she discovered that Asun wasn't treated well there either, it broke her heart. When Asun's stepfather comes home, Asun, in tears, runs away back to her grandmother's house instead of staying with him. Her stepfather tries to convince Asun's mother to bring the girl back, telling her that Asun needs her mother, not life at her grandmother's house. But her mother knows too well. If Asun comes back, her stepfather would treat her like a servant, and the poor girl would spend her life slaving away for them. At that moment, Asun's stepfather reads out a poem, one that Asun wrote for a school competition, for which she won second prize. Hearing her daughter's heartfelt words, Asun's mother finally breaks down, becoming deeply emotional. In the next scene, Asun's grandmother's house is shown. Here, she is treated like a servant. Then, Gwansik arrives with today's fish to give to the family, bringing an extra one because Asun's uncle never bought fish for her. He was concerned about Asun. Suddenly, Asun's mother arrives with a large quantity of fish and throws them at Asun's uncle's face. After that, she scolds them all for mistreating her daughter. First, they had taken advantage of Asun's mother's helplessness by getting her married to a sick man. And now, after her father's death, they were treating Asun poorly. Finally, Asun's mother loses her patience. She takes her daughter and leaves the house. Asun is very happy because her uncle never took care of her, and now she can stay with her mother. She promises her mother, just like the words she wrote in her poem, that she will soon grow up and get a good job to give her mother some rest. With this hope, both mother and daughter start a new life. Asun's mother starts sending her to school. There, Asun runs for the position of president, but despite receiving the most votes, she is made the monitor. This makes her very upset, and she begins to cry. Later, Asun's mother finds out from Gwansik that the boy who was made president had bribed the school officials with money, which is why Asun lost even though she got the most votes. Her mother is deeply saddened by this. She decides to help Asun by buying her better clothes and jewelry, and goes to the school to meet Asun's teacher. She bribes the teacher and requests that they treat her daughter fairly. However, she doesn't know how much of an effect this will have. On the way back from school, Asun feels very bad for her mother and tells her that she is happy to be the monitor, despite everything. Both mother and daughter, feeling helpless, hug each other and cry. In the next scene, we see that Asun's mother has become severely ill, yet she continues working to feed her children. Everyone is trying to understand that going into the sea is no less dangerous than a deadly gamble, but she can't see anything beyond her children's needs. Seeing this, Asun becomes sad and burns her mother's seagoing clothes. After that, she leaves from there and meets Gwansik outside, who gives her fish to eat. Asun thinks that he is pitying her, but Gwansik expresses his love and promises to always stay with her. In the next scene, we see that Asun's mother's health has worsened, and now she has very little time left. Therefore, she spends the last night with her daughter peacefully and tells her to go back to her grandmother's house so she can have a better life. And she advises her to not take any responsibility on herself, as per her stepfather's suggestion. After saying all this, Asun falls asleep in her mother's lap. In the next scene, Asun's mother's funeral is shown, where Asun is seen crying badly, and the only person trying to console her is Gwansik. With this, they all start moving forward in life, but Asun's stepfather emotionally blackmails her and stops her, claiming that he is taking care of her brother. Time keeps passing, and this man keeps finding excuses to stop Asun from leaving. Asun was not only taking care of the children, but also doing housework, and in a few days, she turned everything into a better situation. As always, during difficult times, the only person who stood by her side was none other than Gwansik. Time passed, and Aesun became pregnant. One day, as usual, she talks about leaving, and her stepfather tempts her by offering to send her to college and cover all her expenses. In the temptation of a good education, Aesun stops once again after hearing his words. Time continues to pass as Aesun keeps working day and night on her stepfather's instructions, and as usual, Gwansik helps her sell vegetables. Then, suddenly, Gwansik's grandmother arrives in the market, and she absolutely doesn't like them being together. She starts insulting Aesun as usual, and Aesun, shouting in front of everyone, says that she doesn't like Gwansik at all, and that he follows her around on his own. And saying this, she gets scared of Gwansik's grandmother and runs away from there. Afterward, Gwansik takes her things and follows her. Both walk together and enter a flower field. There, for the first time, they express their love for each other and kiss. Gwansik had always been madly in love with Aesun, but Aesun didn't know when or how she fell in love with him, but now she couldn't live without him. Today, Aesun was very happy, but happiness didn't last for the poor girl. When she reaches home, she finds out that her stepfather has remarried. This makes her leave the house and go to her grandmother's place. There, she learns that their financial situation is very bad as well. Her uncle tells her to leave everything and work in a factory so that she can earn money and provide for them. Aesun returns to her stepfather's house and asks for her college fee, but the man and his wife refuse to give her even a single coin. Now she was stuck between a rock and a hard place and couldn't understand where to go. So she, crying as usual, goes to her one and only savior, Gwansik. Gwansik, despite having no courage to ask his grandmother for help for Aesun, knew that he would never get her help. So they both decide to run away from home. Aesun collects whatever precious things she has from home, and Gwansik takes his grandmother's jewelry. After that, they meet at a certain point. There, they promise each other to always stay together, and they leave for the big city. On the ship, the pilot asks for their IDs, but they don't have any. This makes the pilot suspicious. Gwansik, scared, tries to bribe the pilot, but Aesun stands firm in front of him and says that they are husband and wife. Taking Gwansik's hand, she leads him away. When they reach the city, they go to a jeweler's shop. The jeweler also starts suspecting that they are thieves. And finally, Gwansik reveals the truth to him. However, they don't get any money in return. Now, with no money, they have nowhere to stay. Still, they both reach a hotel where they request a room by giving a ring. The man ignores them, but the hotel owner thinks that they are on their honeymoon and that they might be rich. So she helps them and gives them a room. There, Gwansik's mother starts looking for him. Meanwhile, the hotel owner, being very kind-hearted, gives them food and alcohol. After drinking, both of them become tipsy. Then, in the morning, when they regain consciousness, their belongings are missing, and the window is broken. They go out to complain, but instead, they are blamed for the bill and for breaking the window. At this point, it is revealed that the hotel staff were the ones who stole everything. However, without any proof, they are unable to do anything and sit empty-handed on the street. Now, they couldn't understand what to do next. Suddenly, Aesun gets the idea of revenge. So they both secretly enter the hotel and warn the staff about their next move. After the thieves fall asleep, they start searching for their belongings. But when they can't find anything, they take the cash box instead. As they are leaving, Aesun spots a child's pin on the ground. When she picks it up, the child's eyes open, and the thieves start chasing them. As they run, Aesun grabs hold of their hands but tells Gwansik to run. Now, Gwansik couldn't just leave her, so he throws the money box aside and rushes to help her. Together, they manage to escape from the thieves. They both arrive at the police station, where Gwansik's mother comes to pick them up. With great cleverness, she manages to get all their belongings back and takes them both back home. After this, Aesun's life becomes difficult again. She is expelled from school and starts hearing accusations of running away from home and being promiscuous. Not only that, but she is now back at her uncle's house, where she gets the chance to be humiliated. They lock her in a store and treat her badly, but Gwansik is still ready to fight for her. He goes to her family and brings a proposal for her. However, Aesun feels that he is pitying her, so she rejects the proposal. She is then ready to marry a rich man with children. When Gwansik finds out about her marriage, he is devastated. He again goes to Aesun's uncle and requests him not to mistreat her, but her uncle doesn't listen. Meanwhile, the man keeps taunting Aesun about running away with Gwansik. Eventually, she gets fed up and speaks up. At that moment, Gwansik arrives, grabs Aesun's hand, and forcibly takes her away to talk. She tells him that she needs to be practical. If she marries Gwansik, she will keep craving small things for the rest of her life, just as she has since childhood. She tells him to leave her alone. Gwansik tries very hard to make her understand that he will take care of her, but she doesn't listen, and eventually the heartbroken lover walks away. Then, Gwansik's mother sends him to another city to participate in a race. In a flashback, we learn that it was his mother who had messed with Aesun's mind, telling her that if she stayed with Gwansik, she would lose everything and that he was bad luck for her. After this, Aesun decides to sacrifice herself and stay away from Gwonsik. In the present, Gwonsik tells his friend that the only reason he participated in the race was because he was going to see Aesun. Otherwise, he wasn't interested in races, nor was he fast. In short, without Aesun, he is nothing. Meanwhile, the man keeps taunting Aesun, and eventually she loses her patience and runs away from him, rejecting the marriage proposal and chasing after Gwonsik. However, by then, her ship had already departed. Everyone thought that Aesun would continue crying, but no one realized the madness of these two lovers. As soon as Gwonsik sees Aesun crying, he jumps off the ship without caring for his life and swims quickly towards her. Both of them, upon seeing each other, go crazy with happiness and hug each other. But at that moment, Gwonsik's mother and grandmother were about to see them. In the next scene, we see that not only have Gwonsik and Aesun gotten married, but they also have a cute little daughter who has now become their life, and both of them, leaving their dreams behind, are now focused on taking care of their family. But even after all this, happiness doesn't come to Aesun's life. Instead, a new and more difficult battle starts for her from the beginning, because now Gwonsik gets caught up in earning money for his family, and he has no idea how his family is treating Aesun and his daughter behind his back. Gwonsik's mother wants Aesun to give them a grandson, but since a long time, she hasn't given any good news, so she treats her very badly. Not only that, due to bad conditions at home, Gwonsik's grandmother and mother want Aesun's daughter to become a dangerous person just like her grandmother. But everyone knows that Aesun will never accept this, nor would her mother if she were alive. Looking at Aesun, she was at her mother's house. There, her stepfather's wife, talking to her, seems to lighten her heart, and while assuring her of friendship, she says to do the same. But Aesun doesn't keep any secrets from her. After this, she goes back home and shows her stepfather's house some things she brought. But Gwonsik's grandmother and mother do not like at all that she brought a bicycle for her daughter, and they tell her to sell the bicycle. This makes Aesun very sad, but she cannot say anything. In the room, seeing this, Gwonsik talks about standing up for her, but Aesun tells him to stand up for their daughter because she doesn't want her daughter to live the same life as hers. Instead, she wants her daughter to have all the happiness and comforts of the world. She is so confident that she doesn't want to bow down to anyone. Hearing this, Gwonsik becomes emotional, and the next day, he goes and buys a new bicycle for their daughter, which he refuses to sell with all his strength. Not only that, he takes food from his plate and gives it to his daughter so she can eat her fill without worrying about anyone. This makes his mother and grandmother very upset, but they cannot say anything. Seeing Gwonsik stand up for his family, Aesun feels very happy, and then she doesn't mind working in the kitchen like this. With that, the scenes shift to the present, where Aesun is still the same housewife, doing housework. Now, her daughter Yang is also grown up and appears upset about something. Then, from her past, it's revealed that she likes a boy, and when she goes to meet his mother, she learns that the boy's mother is very arrogant and just wants to make Yang a housewife. But Yang doesn't want a life like her mother's, so she refuses to make such a big compromise for the boy's love. In the present, when she goes out, her mother scolds her for telling so many lies, to which she says that she had to suffer for small things throughout her childhood. But now, she doesn't want to live like that, so she wants to fulfill every wish she has, according to what she can afford. Upon hearing this, Aesun becomes emotional and tells her that parents only want to see their children happy and make every effort to fulfill their needs. They did the same. Hearing this, Yang feels a bit embarrassed, after which she asks her mother, "If you got a chance, would you prefer to marry someone else instead of my father?" To which she replies, "No, I wouldn't prefer any rich or better man over Gwonsik, because no one can compare to the love he has given me." Now, to explain why she says this, the scenes shift to the past. When Aesun finds out that Gwonsik's grandmother and mother want Yang to become dangerous, she fights them. In this struggle, Gwonsik's mother raises her hand on her, and when Gwonsik comes home, he sees the treatment they gave Aesun. He refuses to tolerate this behavior with his wife and daughter, and, holding his daughter, grabs his wife's hand and leaves the house forever. In the present, Gwonsik comes home. Seeing his parents happy and in love, Yang starts to understand Aesun's decision. In the past, after leaving home, Gwonsik and Aesun's life becomes very difficult, but still they live happily and peacefully. An unknown person starts paying their rent, making their life easier. Not only that, Aesun also becomes pregnant, but peace doesn't stay with them for long because happiness only touches their home briefly. Suddenly, Gwonsik starts feeling very tired and ill. Aesun then finds out that he works for the same man whose proposal she had rejected before marrying Gwonsik. Aesun, making kimchi, goes to meet his wife, but when she gets there, she finds out that this worthless man not only abuses Gwonsik, but also beats his own wife. This makes Aesun more sure of her decision, and she leaves, telling his wife to raise her voice for herself. Here, Gwonsik's patience also runs out, and he decides to quit working for this man. Just as he is about to leave, Aesun arrives, and teaching that man a lesson in front of everyone, she grabs Gwonsik's hand and leaves. She had always managed to escape from Gwonsik's difficulties, and she does the same again. Seeing this, Tears of joy fill Gwansik's eyes. In the present, both of them are walking hand in hand, and in their old age, they can't even imagine living without each other. The scenes shift back to the past. Now, both of them have neither work nor money to buy food. Gwansik is ready to do any small and difficult job so that he can feed his family. And when Aesun doesn't have enough money to feed her children, she is ready to beg in front of others. At this time, she remembers her mother's words a lot. Finally, seeing Gwansik and her children in this condition, she goes to her grandmother for help. There, her uncle, as always, insults her, but her grandmother starts feeling sorry for her, though she cannot help her due to her own limitations. After returning home, Aesun breaks down in Gwansik's arms, crying that now she has to be strong so that people stop hurting her with their words. Gwansik had never let her face any difficulties. He fought alone against the cold and heat of the world, but always tried to give his family everything. But now even his strength is running out. Suddenly, their door knocks. It is Aesun's grandmother, who comes and hands over all the savings of her life to Aesun, so she and her husband can buy a boat and start a new life. Because before dying, Aesun's mother had told them that their daughter is very strong, but if a difficult time comes and she extends her hand for help, don't leave her alone. Because if she has come, she must be in a very bad situation, and once she receives help, she will never come again for help. After hearing all this, Aesun becomes very emotional. Then, she and Gwansik promise her grandmother that they will use this money wisely and not give her any reason to complain. In the next scene, they buy a boat and start a new life, and everywhere, Aesun starts receiving praise. Suddenly, she begins to feel labor pains, and Gwansik quickly runs to take her to the doctor. In this way, they have a son, and both of them begin moving forward in life with happiness and success. The financial difficulties lessen, and Aesun gets pregnant again. Now, she doesn't have to listen to anyone's hurtful words, and her husband is always there by her side. In the next scene, Gwansik buys a house for her, and it's the same house where Aesun's mother had lived before her death. This makes Aesun incredibly happy. Aesun has another son. Then her mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law start praising her for how well she is managing. After improving her family life, Aesun also stands for election in her village. While campaigning, she happens to meet the wife of her ex-fiancé. This makes her realize even more how wonderful her husband is. She then goes back to the boat where her husband and children are, and thanks God for all the happiness she has received. One day, the weather was very bad when Aesun was alone at home with her two sons. Suddenly, she finds out that her daughter Yang has been injured from falling off her bicycle. She runs to see her, and although Yang is not badly hurt, when they reach home, Aesun cannot find either of her two sons. In a panic, Aesun starts searching for them like a madwoman. Eventually, her older son, Eunmyeong, returns home, but there is still no sign of the younger son. At this point, Aesun continues searching for him. Meanwhile, the bad news about her son being missing reaches Gwansik. The entire village starts searching for Aesun's children in the stormy weather, but there is still no trace of them. Then a lady approaches Aesun and suggests they walk along the beach. There, due to the storm, they find the unconscious body of Aesun's son. Upon checking, it becomes clear that he has passed away. This devastates Aesun and Gwansik, and their once joyful home is shattered again. Both of them forget everything and drown in the grief of their son's death. They lose all sense of reality and have no concern for their other children. Then, one day, Aesun's mother appears in her dream and reminds her that life is about moving forward. No matter how much pain there is, time doesn't stop for anyone, so she should not stop either. After hearing this, Aesun wakes up in the morning and starts trying to get back to normal. She goes outside and begins to cook for her children herself, and when Gwansik notices his daughter is sad, he asks her the reason. It is then that both of them realize they had forgotten that their other children were suffering too. So, they decide to ignore their grief and live their life again for the children who are still alive. Both of them become emotionally hardened and start working, earning money with the help of the same sea that caused them to lose their child. Then one day, while coming home, Aesun tells Gwansik that she feels their son's death happened because of her. She believes that she had taught him to wait at the shore for Gwansik, and on that day, their son was doing just that. Both of them cry after hearing this, but Gwansik tells her that no one is to blame for their son's death. Later, Aesun realizes that Gwansik was blaming himself for everything, thinking that if he had come home sooner, maybe none of this would have happened. In the next scene, we see that a lot of time has passed, and Yang is now grown up. She has become very good at her studies and has been admitted to a good university. Aesun and Gwansik are very happy that not only their dreams, but also their children's dreams are coming true, and they are moving forward in life. To pay her fees, they are willing to go to any lengths. Yang gets admitted, and on the day of orientation, they meet a boy there. As soon as the boy sees Yang, he falls in love with her. However, Gwansik does not like this at all because he is becoming a protective father. After returning home, he tells Aesun to keep an eye on Yang because, although she is their daughter, their history and past stories are not hidden. In the next scene, we see that in their village, due to the marathon race, all the stalls are being removed. Everyone is worried about how they will manage without them. Suddenly, Aesun enters, lies down on the ground, and starts protesting. As a result, everyone becomes scared and decides to stop removing the stalls. After this, everyone starts asking Aesun to become the head of their village. Aesun isn't interested at all, but the villagers start forcing her. This makes her opponent feel threatened because he now faces competition, and in response, he begins promoting himself even more. However, Aesun ignores all of this, and the next day, goes to her son's school for the parent-teacher conference, PTC. She is very excited, thinking that just like Yang, her son will make her proud. But when she arrives, she learns that there is no PTC that day. Instead, the teacher had called her to complain about her son. Upon hearing this, she discovers how irresponsible her son is, which makes her feel deeply embarrassed. Election day arrives, and despite her opponent's efforts, Aesun wins. Afterward, she is seen celebrating with everyone. After so much time seeing her so happy, Gwansik's joy knows no bounds. Meanwhile, in the city, Yang goes to tutor a rich girl illegally to earn money. The girl's driver, being handsome, leads everyone to believe he is Yang's boyfriend. As a result, strange rumors about Yang start spreading at the university, which the boys who like her find unacceptable. Then, the rich girl's mother falsely accuses Yang of stealing and asks her to take an exam for her daughter under a fake identity. Due to the risks involved, Yang refuses. However, the woman doesn't leave her any way out and accuses her of stealing a fake diamond ring. She also refuses to open her door, putting Yang in a very difficult situation. In the next scene, we see Yang sitting in jail, and the police are questioning her about the diamond ring. She doesn't want her family to know about this, so she tries to delay the conversation in any way she can. The woman who had accused her, the maid, successfully takes the ring out of the house and by forcing the woman, tells her to withdraw the accusation against Yang. As a result, in the next scene, Yang is released from jail. She wants to call her mother and tell her everything, but out of fear of increasing her worries, she stays silent. Instead, she finds out that her father has come to the city to meet her and has been waiting outside her hostel since morning. When Yang reaches her father, seeing him wait for her since the morning makes her feel really bad. Gwansik also understands that his daughter is facing financial struggles, but he is also helpless. He has already done more than he could handle. When he is leaving, Yang realizes that she has spoken too harshly to her father, so she starts waving to him to say goodbye. Seeing this, Gwansik remembers Yang from her childhood, when she used to wave goodbye to her mother as he left for work. Here, we learn that the maid helped Yang because Gwansik and Aesun, when they went to Busan, had saved a woman from a hotel scam. This woman was the same, and Yang's face closely resembled her mother's, which is why the maid cleared the debt. The maid also remembered that good people are the reason the world moves forward, which is why she couldn't let anything bad happen to anyone. Aesun begins to progress in life and, with the help of her mother's friends, buys a restaurant so they can move forward instead of continuing to set up stalls on the street. Then, Yang calls her, telling her that she wants to study abroad but can't because of financial struggles. She knew well the struggles her parents had faced. However, she becomes rude to her mother, which upsets Aesun. Aesun, in turn, opens up to Gwansik and shares her heart. But both of them, in any case, want to fulfill their daughter's dreams because they couldn't do so for themselves. So, they sell their house. The same house where Aesun's mother's memories were. In the next scene, Yang is seen on a plane. She is very emotional because she never imagined she would get the opportunity to study abroad. Due to selling the house, Aesun and Gwansik become poor again and start living in a small home. This causes their son's mood to sour. Aesun had not invested any money into the restaurant, so she sets up a small shop outside it. Though the struggles are many, both husband and wife manage to find happiness and peace in each other, despite all the hardships. Yang, the tenant of a house owned by a strict man, encounters a situation where his daughter brings her boyfriend over once she leaves the house, and he soon arrives as well. Meanwhile, Aesun's son, Eunmyeong, brings a girl home, and both get caught. The landlord humiliates the man and throws him out of the house. Later, Aesun and Gwansik learn that Eunmyeong's girlfriend is the daughter of the same man who Aesun had refused to marry and later defeated in the election. This revelation makes their son's love story seem much more complicated. Yang gets a part-time job through Chung, her landlord's daughter's boyfriend, who, in some way, begins to like Yang. One day, Yang's boyfriend Park surprises her at the park, and seeing them together makes Chung feel incredibly jealous. When Yang returns home, Park tries to convince her not to stay in such a place, as he doesn't think it's safe. Instead of agreeing, Yang argues with him, and Chung finds this behavior strangely appealing. In the next scene, the theater owner sends Yang to Chung's house for a meal. When Chung isn't home, Yang goes inside alone. Shortly after, Chung and his girlfriend arrive, arguing. Chung wants to break up with his girlfriend because she has been cheating on him and constantly mocking him for being poor. However, she turns the tables, accusing Chung of cheating on her. When she sees Yang there, her suspicions grow stronger, and she begins to harbor hatred towards Yang. Next, the scene shifts to Yang. She goes to Park's house for his birthday. where his mother was already present. Park's mother doesn't like the idea of Park and Yang dating, and Yang's visit makes her even more upset. She insults Yang a lot, which makes Yang tell Park that she is also her parents' favorite and won't tolerate such insults. Park gets caught between his mother and girlfriend. Yang tells him that before marriage, he will have to choose between his mother and her because she doesn't want to marry someone who is his mother's favorite. Park doesn't know how to choose between them, and Yang gives him an example of her father, who had chosen his mother over others. In the next scene, we see that Yang's workplace is having problems with people selling black market tickets outside the theater. One of them turns out to be Chung's mother, who had come to see her son's paintings. Because of Yang, she is able to get free tickets to the theater, and Chung realizes how lonely his mother is. This brings them closer, despite not wanting to. We also see how A-sun is constantly worried about Yang, but Yang is starting to get irritated by her overcare. This reminds A-sun of the time her own mother had worried about her, saving her from a gang of beggars, showing that a mother's sixth sense is very strong. Remembering this, A-sun feels like something is wrong with Yang, so she rushes to her and finds that Yang has been exposed to poisonous gas in her room, causing her to faint. Seeing this, A-sun is deeply shaken. Chung is there and helps Yang get to the hospital. While at the hospital, A-sun recalls how she had saved her own daughter from dangers and reflects on how mothers are not just ordinary women. As Yang's condition improves in the hospital, Park visits her, and when A-sun sees their love, she feels like Yang has found a man just like her father. However, when A-sun learns about Park's mother's behavior, she tells Yang to stay away from marrying him. Meanwhile, Yoon-myung goes for his military training. Back to Yang's wedding preparations, Park convinces his parents with difficulty to meet Yang's family. But Park's parents, because of their wealth, consider themselves superior and look down on Yang's family. Even though A-sun and Gwon-sik know this, they tolerate it for their daughter's happiness. Finally, the wedding preparations begin, but Park's mother does everything she can to humiliate Yang's family, even telling A-sun that she doesn't want the marriage to happen. When Yang finds out about this, she tells Park to move in with her so they can avoid the comments from his family. But this time, Park's mother goes too far, forcing Yang to break up with Park for the sake of her own dignity and that of her family. Though Yang and Park loved each other deeply, they separated because of these issues. Meanwhile, Park marries a girl of his own choice, but soon loses all feelings for her. His wife also insults him terribly as they grow old together, but Park never takes a stand for her. Yang, on the other hand, is heartbroken but eventually picks herself up and starts living her life again. At this point, we find out how Park is doing, but the focus shifts to Yang's emotional state. She is still struggling with the pain of her breakup, and her parents are extremely worried about her. One day, Yang takes a leave from work and surprises her parents by showing up at their house. Seeing her parents' joy knows no bounds. They devote all their efforts to making her happy, and day and night, they focus on her well-being, making it the purpose of their lives. One day, Gwon-sik takes Yang on a boat to show her the sunrise. Here, Yang finds a new hope to live again, and decides to start a new chapter in her life. Behind her, her aging parents are left alone, feeling bittersweet. Meanwhile, Eun-myung returns home after completing his military training, but he is not alone. He has brought Hyun-suk with him, who is now pregnant with his child. When A-sun and Gwon-sik find out, they are stunned, as they are about to become grandparents much sooner than they expected. With this, the season ends. Thank you for watching.